Hi guys, right, I'd like to share with you my experience on how I service my Helios 44. For starters, a comparison between the 44-4, the 44 and the 50mm Takuma. Now, today we're just going to be working with the 44, so I'll get rid of them out of the way. Now, we're just left with a 44. Now, all three lenses will work pretty much the same, but basically, either make yourself, like I have, a nice little rubber disc, and basically just place the rubber disc onto the nameplate, like so, and then you can, if you like, use the cap from the bottom to hold it down, and then basically just turn the nameplate off. If, however, the nameplate is too tight for that, you need to get yourself one of these lovely tools. Just like so. Now, then what you would do is you would find, I don't know whether you can see in there, there's a couple of little holes. Now, you would just line that up in there and then turn away. But since I already have, simply unscrew the nameplate, like so, put to one side. Now, whenever you're taking anything to bits, try and move in a sort of either left to right or right to left with your parts, so you know roughly how they go back again. Now you'll see inside there's a couple of element removing parts, and all I would do there is line my lens tool up on the two slots, like so, and very carefully, holding at the bottom of the stems, just loosen it, and as soon as you've loosened it, remove the tool out of the way so you don't risk scratching the elements with the sharp parts. Just get your fingernail in there, like so, and turn that around. Then, like I said, that went that way up, turn it that way up. Left to right, that went that way up, turn it that way up, left to right. Same again, that went that way up, left to right, that way up, left to right. Now you're left with one more glass inside there, which you remove from this side. So again, you set your lens tool up in the two centre marks, first on this one. And very carefully, and this again, as soon as you've loosened it, remove it out of the way so you don't mark the lens. Now, I always undo the centre one first, because if you try and undo the outer one first, the whole element will come apart in one, and then you can't remove the centre one on its own. So always do the centre one before the outer one, on the back part anyway, at least. Again, that went that way up, left to right, and there's that bit, left to right. Now I've already loosened this off, so, but again, you would have two marks there, you would line your tool up on there and turn away. Careful. And there you go, that's all of the glass out. No glass left, that's just the aperture blades in there. And that's a through hole, all the way through. Right, now clean away. I would start with a microfiber cloth and a little bit of solution. Never put the solution directly on the lens, always put it on the cloth. Spray a little bit on, not too much. And then in a circular motion, rub the lens. And always in a circular motion. If you try and go in lines, you will leave streaks. So always in a circular motion, and do both sides, making sure you get right into the corners. So when that's done, you can place that back and reverse the process. And because you've put all the pieces down nice and in an organised fashion, you can just pop everything back together, knowing which way they went in. I will tighten all these up later, but just to speed the process up. That's that one. I'll turn that back over. And again, in a circular motion, make sure you clean your glass. And a good idea, if you have one, is a very bright light. Now I have a good head torch that I use, and what you can do is obviously use the torch and then shine your glass over the torch, and then you can see if there's any tiny little specks that you've missed or any streaks, and you can remove them until you're happy. Obviously it is always, in a house environment, very difficult to in fact, when you're putting this lens in, you will have to clean the lens again on that side, but it's an idea to go in like that, because then you can feel when the lens is level and going in correctly. There we go. And then you can clean the glass before you put the next ring in. Clean the glass again. Make sure you give it a good blow. If you wanted just to double check before you carry on, again have a look with your torch, make sure there's no specks. I mean, there is on mine, but I'll clean it again later. Then that ring. Then that one. And that one. I like to use my fingernail to put it back together, just because you're not getting the tool anywhere near your glass. And just to nip it up at the end, use your tool just to tighten it just a fraction, never over tighten. It's not going to go anywhere anyway. So that's that one back together, and then you can put the nameplate back on. Again, use my rubber disc and just screw. And to be perfectly honest, you don't need the lens tool to tighten that back up again. I'll just do it as tight as I can like that, and that's perfectly good enough. And then there you go, that's your lens cleaning.